aspirants, I welcome you all on the YouTube channel of ANALYST IAS. Our today's topic for focus of the day's discussion is the Singareni Thermal Power Plants. We will see by news what is flue gas desulphurization, what are the types of flue gas desulphurization, what are thermal power plants, what are the different types of thermal power plants. After that, we will see status of thermal power in India. Then we will come to sulfur dioxide pollution and state of sulfur pollution in a country like India. So we'll start with the topic. Why in news? The Singareni Thermal Power Plant in Telangana is set to become the first public sector coal-based power generating station in the south and first among the state public sector units in the country to have flue gas desulphurization. Now, what is it? Flue gas desulphurization. The FGD plant would process the sulfur and other gases like nitrogen oxides generated in firing the coal for power generation. The FGD plant removes sulfur dioxide from the flue gas, as the sulfur dioxide, if it will go into the atmosphere, then it can form sulfuric acid, which will cause acid rain and other pollutants as well before it is released into the atmosphere, and hence reduces its impact on the environment. Here I have given you an illustration. This was the flue gas and this was the spray area. There the clean gas is basically released into the atmosphere and gypsum is collected. So gypsum can be used in the cement industry as well. Now, what are the types of FGDs? There is wet FGD system which uses a liquid absorbent. There is a spray dry absorbers like this one. They are semi-dry systems in which a small amount of water is mixed with the sorbent. Then there are circulating dry scrubbers, are either dry or semi-dry systems. Then dry sorbent injection injects dry sorbent directly into the furnace or into the ductwork following the furnace. I have already told you the types, but you don't have to lose your mind over it. Now we will see what are thermal power plants. A thermal power plant is a mechanism instituted to convert heat energy to electrical power for usage in domestic and commercial applications. During the production of electricity, steam operated turbines transform heat into mechanical and then electrical power. In thermal power plants, steam is produced at high pressure and temperature using the heat energy produced through the combustion of solid fuel. The turbine shaft connected to the generator rotates with the help of this steam. The turbine impeller's kinetic energy is transformed into electrical energy by the generator. Here you can see there is a boiler and the steam will basically rotate the turbine. Turbine will help to generate electricity. This is the process. This is how cold water is pumped and warm water is pumped here and there. You can just pause the video and see it. Now we will see the types of thermal power plants. So first is the coal-fired thermal power plant. Coal-fired thermal plants use coal as the resource. In India, power is produced using both conventional such as thermal, nuclear, hydro and renewable like wind, solar, biomass etc. sources. Even though a large portion of electricity produced, roughly 75% of the total, is produced using the coal-fired thermal power plant. 75% is used. Okay. According to the Central Electricity Authority, India generated 103.66 billion unit of electricity in December 2020. The Ministry of Coal reports that India will add the newest thermal power plants since 2017-18, totaling 7,010 megawatt in the fiscal year 2020-23. Some of the coal-fired plants are located in Korba in Chhattisgarh, Singrauli in Uttar Pradesh, Khalgaon in Bihar. So it is powered through coal. The water is heated, then the steam is used to rotate the turbine, and then there is generation of electricity. Now there is gas thermal power plant. So the fuel sources in gas thermal power plants are gases or oils. This is used. You can see this is the gas or the oil in the one. Yes. A thermal power station that burns natural gas to produce electricity is known as a gas-fired power station or a natural gas powered plant. India has built total capacity for gas-based electricity of 24 gigawatt, of which 14 gigawatt distributed among 31 gas-based facilities is still standard diesel or liquid fuel. Now, what is geothermal power plant? Underground fluids are used by geothermal power plant to generate heat. This is used according to the Geological Survey of India. There are approximately 340 geothermal hotspot springs in India. Most of them have low surface temperatures between 37 to 90 degrees Celsius, making them ideal for direct heat applications. India's first geothermal power plant is about to be set up in our union territory, Ladakh. Then we will see biomass thermal power plant. Heat from biomass thermal power plant is generated using rice husk, straw, cotton stalk, coconut shells, soya husk. Biomass has traditionally been a significant source of energy for India. It is abundant, carbon neutral, renewable, and has the potential to significantly increase employment in the rural regions of India. Moreover, biomass is able to produce stable energy. More than 70% of the population of the country relies on the biomass for its energy needs, and the country still derives about 32% of its primary energy from it. Some examples of biomass thermal power plants are Khatoli in Uttar Pradesh, the Sarvaya in Andhra Pradesh. Here is the illustration. Now, nuclear thermal power plant, you all must already have heard about it. Nuclear power plants use nuclear fission to generate heat, and a nuclear power plant's operation phase typically lasts the longest during its entire cycle. Apsara Research Reactor in Mumbai is the first nuclear reactor in Asia. As of 2022, there are 22 operational nuclear power plants in India. Remember, there are 22 operational nuclear power plants in India. Here there is a reactor, so uranium 235 is used. Due to fission, heat is generated, and then water is heated. Then this steam is taken to the steam turbine, it rotates, and this kinetic energy will be changed into electrical energy. Now, what is the status of thermal power in India? The thermal power sector has been a major source of electricity generation in India, accounting for 75% of the country's total installed power capacity. As of May 2022, India has a total thermal installed capacity of 236 gigawatt, of which 58.6% of the thermal power is obtained from coal and the rest from lignite, diesel, gas. Now, what is sulfur pollution? The largest source of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere is the burning of fossil fuel by the power plants and other industrial facilities. Smaller sources of sulfur dioxide emissions include industrial processes such as extracting metals from ores, natural sources such as volcanoes, locomotives, ships and other vehicles, and heavy equipment that burn fuel with a high sulfur content. It is also released from the factories. What is the impact? Sulfur dioxide can affect both health and the environment as well. Short-term exposures to sulfur dioxide can harm human respiratory system and make breathing difficult. People with asthma, particularly small children, are very sensitive to these effects. India's sulfur dioxide emissions recorded a significant decline of approximately 6% in 2019 compared to the 2018, the steepest drop in the 4 years, according to a report from Greenpeace India and the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air. However, India remained the largest emitter of sulfur dioxide. In 2015, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change introduced sulfur dioxide emission limits for the coal power stations. Then air quality subindex has been evolved for 8 pollutants, which are PM10, picometer 2.5, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, ozone, this is ammonia NH3, and lead, for which short term up to 24 hours national ambient air quality standards are prescribed. Now we will come to our today's prelims practice question. This question came in the year 2020 itself. Coal ash contains arsenic, lead and mercury. Coal-fired power plants release sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen into the environment. High ash content is observed in the Indian coal. Which of the following statements is correct? Pause the video, try to answer. So basically answer is D. Now we will come to our question number 2. Which one among the following industries is the maximum consumer of water in India? This came in 2013. You must have thought paper and some of you must have thought paper and pulp, but it is thermal power plant. Now we will come to our today's last and main question. A developing country like India requires huge amount of electrical energy to fulfill its daily need. Compare conventional methods with non-conventional methods and also suggest measures to fulfill rising energy needs of the rising India. This was all about today's topic and video. Stay tuned for the next one. If you are new to the channel, we are open for any suggestions in the comment section as well.